God never hears our lies. God never hears a lie. It only hears the truth. So whenever we are finally saying or feeling or thinking something true, then God, let's say, our true spirit, hears that true feeling, that true impression, that true sensation, that true thought, or that true word that we are saying, or that true action that we are doing. God only hears the truth and never hears any lie. This is why He doesn't respond to our lies. God never responds to our false lamentations or false desires. Because God doesn't believe in our lies. And on the contrary, the so-called devil believes only in our lies and hears only lies. So if you go to the devil, let's say, and you speak anything true, it will never hear you. Because the devil hears only lies. So if you want to speak to the devil, you have to speak a lie. This is why the so-called God that was hearing our complaints and our lamentations and our desires, and it was fulfilling our desires, which our desires are just lies. Guess who that God was? That was hearing our lamentations and desires and, oh God, please help me get a new car. Oh God, please make my business, make me have success in my business. Oh God, please restore my health. And all of this stuff. Like the true God never sees you as ill and never sees you as poor. So how could it ever help you heal from a disease when it sees that you are playing pretend that you are ill? It sees that you are playing pretend that you are poor. The true God really sees you as you truly are. So how could it really respond to your lies? It can't. It will never respond to our lies. But the other God sees only our lies. It never sees us in our truth. So it only responds to our illnesses and poor. It sees us, the devil, let's say, the God in the reverse, sees us as a lie. It sees only our desires and lamentations, and it sees us as a poor individual, as a weak individual, as a stupid, debilitated, or ill individual. So it's there to heal us. Oh, let me heal your wounds for you. Yeah, pray to me and I will bestow on you treasures and glory and health and love and everything that you need. But pray me to do that. Pray on me to do that. And I will bestow on you all of that glory and all of that health. The true God will never do that, because the true God is us. Like, We are a sovereign being. We can create for ourselves our own health, our own magnificence, intelligence, treasures, glory, everything that we need. We can do it for ourselves. And this is why this world here, you can see how the majority of this world here never hears the truth. If you try to go to most of these people that live in this world and tell them something true, they will never hear it. It's not that they don't want to, it's just that they don't hear it. They don't understand it. And at best, they will give you space to talk, but at worst, they will try to even make you shut up. Because this world here is primarily at this moment polarized towards the false god. It's polarized towards a lie, a story, an invention, a fabulation, a play pretend. It never hears the truth. Even when you say the truth, it will take it to be as something else, because it literally doesn't have an experience of what the truth is. Even if you go to the false god, to the false and to the beings which are polarized towards the false god, if you go to them and you tell them, oh, you are a sovereign being, you can create all of these things for yourself, like you don't need an exterior. It's not that you don't need, it's non-existent, an exterior force outside of yourself that can help you. It's non-existent. Even if you go and tell them this, they will take these words to be something else, and they will create a story out of it. And now they will create a spiritual movement. They will write books about this. Oh yeah, we are sovereign beings. We are powerful creators. Yeah, we don't need any god. Yeah, exactly. We are powerful. But you will see that through their behavior and through their actions, they are not doing what they're saying. Their words doesn't match their conduit and their actions. They never walk the talk, basically. It's just talk. It's just they will go and write books now about what you told them, you know? Because they will create another lie out of that truth that you gave them. And they will fabulate in their imaginations that they are God, and they will consider themselves to be God without actually being God, without actually practically demonstrating to themselves their God self. No, we said they will start and fabulate all their life. I'm God. I figured it out. I'm God. I can rest now and I can have my human life the way it is because it doesn't matter. I'm God already, and yeah, everything that I'm doing, it's fine. Now I can go back to my human life and just have a normal human life, you know, because I'm God already. You know, it's like, no, if we are God, we have to become God. We have to literally be our true self in the totality of our knowledge and our power. Like, we can't be a mundane human being which has no recollection of itself and no power over anything and then consider ourselves to be God. No, God is an action. God is an literal action that we're doing. It's not an intellectual belief. And like, I can't believe myself to be God all day long. But God is an action. I can only be what I am. I can't think or believe that I am what I am. I have to be what I am. So this is what happens when you go to the world of the lies and you try to tell them something true. It's like, it's not that they don't want to hear your truth. They can't. It's just, it's almost they don't have the experience of truth. So that they don't, it's almost like they don't have the senses of perception to understand what you're saying. It's like they would be missing ears, and you go to a deaf man and you try to tell them something and they only hear this. They only see your lips moving, but they don't hear what you're saying. It's almost like they are missing a sense of perception. And in reverse, the beings which are coming from truth, it's almost like you don't even have to speak to them. You only have to say one or two words and they immediately figure it out. Oh my God, it's like, oh my God, that's true. Oh wow. It's like, wow. How do you know that? Because they deeply know it within themselves, that truth. It's always there within them. And you only have to go to them and you have to tell them one or two words and immediately they figure it out. It's like, oh my God, I always knew this. Like, oh yeah, that's true. How do you know that? Like, tell me more, please. It's like, how do you freaking know that? It's like, this is what it comes to be born out of truth within you immediately recognize when you hear something true. But with people which are born out of a lie, which is the false God, it's almost like the reverse. They never hear almost something true when you tell them. You have to stay there and write books and explain the things for years, and then finally, with some of them, you can actually manage to make them hear and feel and perceive that truth. Finally, but it sometimes takes you years. It's like, there is that story with Columbus, I don't know if it's a real one or it was like more like a legend, but there is this saying or this story that when Columbus went to the new land, the new world, and found the new world, the indigenous people there were some indigenous tribe people on the beach, and while the ships of Columbus were approaching the shore, there were these indigenous people, and among the indigenous people, nobody could see the ships coming because they never saw a ship in their life. So they didn't have a mental concept for ships, so they didn't saw the ships. Although the ships were almost approaching the shore, these indigenous people weren't able to see the ships coming that were there to conquer them. And they were just staying on the beach, but they were wondering, look at those great waves on the water. It's like they were seeing these waves produced on the sea, but they didn't know where the waves were coming from, because they couldn't see the ships that were producing the waves in the water. And there is this, in the story, it is said that there was some sort of like the head of the tribe or the shaman or somebody, which was a wise being, which stared for days at those waves, which were becoming bigger and bigger as the ships were approaching the shore, of course. But it looked at the waves for days and days and days, and finally it was able to see the ships on the sea, on the ocean. And it realized, oh my God, it's like these are some freaking alien things that are approaching us and they are creating the waves. And then finally it was able to, this shaman or head of the tribe was able to go to the other indigenous people in the tribe and tell them, hey, there are some stuff on the water, they are floating on the water, coming towards us, and they are creating the waves. And it is said that slowly these indigenous people, the other people from the tribe, started to also see the ships after this shaman or the tribe, the head of the tribe, was able to tell them. The others were able to also start seeing the ships. So this is what it happens. It's like there are people here they are able to finally see the truth, but it's like you have to freaking stay and repeat or convince them or tell them the truth in so many ways, through so many versions, in so many perspectives, so that at some point it clicks and it's like, oh wow, yeah, now I get it. Now I think I'm getting what you're saying all these years, you know. And they start to finally see the ships, you know, coming. And it's like the last thing that I feel to end this recording with, it's like saying that whatever information or reality, better said, whatever reality we consume and digest, that becomes our existence in a way. So it's like what is our spiritual diet? What do we consume? Are we consuming lies all day long? Or are we gearing our interest, our core being, and our attention and our awareness towards the truth? What spiritual diet are we consuming? Are we consuming the false spirituality with its plethora of lies? Are we taking in a diet of lies, or are we taking in a diet of truth? Because whatever reality we are consuming, that becomes who we are. So as you take in more and more lies, you become a phantom, an illusion, a lie. And as I've explained already, the world of lies has its own God, the God of lies. But as you gear your interest towards truth and you start consuming truth, either from within yourself, which is the purest form of truth you can ever find, either from outside of yourself, from pure beings which are able to emanate truth in more and more pure, uncontaminated forms. There are beings here in this reality which have achieved a level of purity in which they can transpose their inner self to their outer selves in a sort of like pure uncontaminated way. So when these beings are speaking, they are actually not only speaking but also acting out or expressing themselves in any way. They are expressing pure truth. It's pouring out of them. So you can find pure truth in this reality, emanated by some beings which are pure, which have attained purity in themselves. So if you consume a diet of truth, either that truth being taken from within yourself or from outside of yourself, then your reality will become more and more true. And you yourself, you will become true. You will become a real being instead of being a phantasm, a illusion, a lie. As you consume more and more truth, you become more and more true. But as you consume more and more lies, you become more and more a lie, a phantom, an illusion. This is sort of like the symbol behind the story of Pinocchio. He's like, I'm a real boy. I want to be a real boy. Well, if you want to be a real boy, then you have to eat what real boys actually eat and consume, because we become that which we consume. It has been stated, even in so many ways, even in the ancient writings, the writings of the ancients, and in the modern science has been saying the same thing. We become what we eat. If we rejoice in a diet of lies, we become a lie. If instead we rejoice in a diet of truth, we become true. So this is how Pinocchio turns from a inanimate puppet to a real boy, when it stops telling the lies.